Chapter 27. Whether it's the power of Matthew Madison's name or just the Irish weather, at the moment the sun goes behind the clouds and a heavy wind starts to pick up. 5 seconds later is hailing hard. We abandon our picnic table and hide underneath the flat corrugated roof of the coffee place. The hail loud and pelting. We stand there awkwardly, unable to hear our own voices over the sound of frozen rock on tin. Standing too close to him, I can smell the damp, yellow smell even before strongly the smell of filth and decay. I look at my watch. My parents have both left for work by now. I am not trying to be, but I don't even bother trying. To couch my words. Dude, you stink. Let's go back. You can take a shower and we can, I don't know, talk about Matthews. He looks alarmed. You want me in your house? I don't want you there. No, but you probably need to be clean, and we need to talk about the housekeeper. I realize this is trusting, too trusting, absorbedly trusting. But when someone has been pursued by the same revenge demon that you have, it briefly transcends your personal history. We run most of the way back, the hail not letting up for a second. I wonder if this is a coincidence or yet another flax from the children of Bridget. Can they see us even now? Is there magic or that's powerful that they can change the weather or on a whim? I look sidelong at Aaron, wondering if I can really let him into my house after everything, after the gig last year, after everything with Joe, after haunting and stalking and threats on my life. This is going to be so interesting if you live. Aaron is my enemy, but the children of Bridget are too, even more so. And if he hates them now, too, does that mean that my enemy's enemy is my friend? Can I afford not to know what Aaron has to say? I unlock the door and I let him in. The first rule of witchcraft, broken: never invite a demon into your home. Mum and Dad are both gone. Thank God. The dog Walker will be here at noon to take Tutu for a big jaunt around the river. He shuffles out of his bed in the kitchen, tail wagging in gentle surprise, happy to have someone home again. For some reason, I wait to see how he reacts to Aaron. I tell myself if a dog yelps and growls, I will use that as a sign that I should throw Aaron out. He doesn't. Tutu just sniffs at him and jumps up to say hello, the same as he treats anyone else. I shake my head, scolding myself. Why am I giving my dog's judgment more weight than my own? Instinctively, I bring Aaron to the attic bathroom. That only I really use. I don't want him near my parents' things. My mum's makeup, my dad's vitamin supplements. I don't want him to know anything about them. I keep behind him when we are in the house, not wanting to have my back to him at any point. He doesn't comment on the house. My people commented on the house. Most people commented on the house. It's big and old. My parents have done a lot to it over the years. Aaron doesn't. He keeps silent. As I let him in the attic bathroom, he inhales sharply, like he's been winded. My eyes dart to him, wondering what he's going to pull next. What? I asked, slightly panicked. What's wrong? You've got spot. You have hot spotted this place, haven't you? Like Wi-Fi? Yeah. He walks over to the tub. You've done magic in here. Yes, spells. Quiet, a few of them. It comes out like a brag. Not all of them worked. Excuse me. It's in the walls now, he says, sucking his teeth. He sounds a bit like a plumber who is here to tell me that there is a dead rat in my drain. In the tiles that is here forever now. Good luck to the next people who live in this house. Let's hope they have a witch in the family. How do you know this? How can you tell? They taught me. Who? Them, the children. He gives a strange kind of yes, a sort of weary finger gun, with a badly administrated wink. I don't get it. Are you religious or magic? He leans his weight on the edge of the tub, looks mournfully at his hands. They are anything that means power. They don't even really care about God or Scripture, really. They just use it because it's convenient. The church has a good infrastructure to control people. Lots of buildings, a lot of community groups, and so many people have left the Catholic Church. Priests leaving the seminary, and so on. That the last few years have really opened up the opportunity for them. He is much taller than me usually, but the way he's leaning on the bathroom means that we are at eye level. I've never had an interaction with him that went on this long before. It's starting to make me itch. There are towels in the cupboard, I say, pointing to the hottest press. Knock yourself out. I'll be downstairs. I leave. I sit on the kitchen floor, or table rather, tutus, head in my lap, and I wait, and I wonder what I'm doing, far too aware of the danger of taking Aaron. Not just on the literal physical level, but emotionally too. Already I can feel my hatred eroding into a kind of pity, edged with disgust, edged with fascination. The water well. Aaron finally emerges from the bathroom and appears in the kitchen looking slightly less deranged than he did 20 minutes ago. The old yellow smell has gone and replaced it with a faint odour of me. He used my shampoo, my body wash, and I think even my moisturizer. Well, what did I expect? Do you want tea? Please. Milk and sugar? Milk, no sugar. Thank you. This is too bizarre. So I say, when both teas are ready, you are going to tell me about the housekeeper and everything else. It's hard to know where to start, he says meekly. Some of it has been gone scrambled. I don't know. Start where it's easiest. So he goes back to the beginning. He tells me about California and the peach orchards and the smell of the peaches when they fell to the ground and rotted. Rats would get into the orchards. Sometimes we would go in and shoot them with our BB guns. We? My brothers Samuel, Noah, Jess. I'm the second oldest after Samuel. The problem with hell started when he was 12, when I found his verse of Revelations. He says, where Jesus says, so then, because thou art lukewarm and neither cold or hot, I will spew thee out of my mouth, and I don't know. It probably sounds funny to you, but the words lukewarm made me so scared because I knew that I was only keeping up this God thing because of my parents and really for my own vanity because I was supposed to be this holy kid. That was my thing. And when I read that quote, all I could think of was, oh, it's me. God knows I am faking. God's going to spit me out of his mouth and send me to hell. And that's when it started. I couldn't stop seeing hell wherever, in everything. What did your parents say? I asked, still astounded by the image of being spat out by God's mouth. They were so embarrassed. I think it was cute when I was a little kid, quoting verses, but having this hysterical teenager always ranting about sin was just too much. And then, when my sensitivity came along, I figured I was being punished. I thought that was God's saying, okay, kid, the jig is up. You were right all along. You are made wrong. It sounds like you were. What I want to say is, it sounds like you were mentally ill and badly needed help, but I don't finish the sentence. Because that's the kind of thing you say to someone you are on the same side as, someone you have compassion for. A memory from Rue's gig flashes before my eyes. The kid in the makeup, who couldn't have been much older than 12, getting soaked by a child of Bridget, while Aaron impassively looked on. The kid needed compassion, they needed help, but Aaron weathered through intuition or sensitivity, just nods, as if he has heard me. I know, he says, I know. So they sent me away. Twin Pines, I answered automatically. Yes, how? But then he remembers. You read my letters. Yes. Well, yeah, I was 15 when I first went. First, yeah, and then again at the end of that year. And then again at 16 and 17. That's when I met Matthew and Alexander and Ria. We always seemed to be in and out of the same time. So we were the crew, the gang. Riri, Ria, she was in the 4-6. He recounts, a twinge of laughter in his voice. Couldn't stop, wouldn't stop. Alex and Matt were in for ungodly desires. So that can be also sexual, ungodly desires. My eyes flit to his at this term. They were gay, he clarifies, and I was in for being crazy, or I guess obsessively compulsive disorder. I'm so confused by this. Everyone heard of OCD? Of course, it's one of those mental illnesses you see a lot on TV, usually accompanied by a lot of cleaning. I don't clean, he says sharply. The obsession was intrusive, thoughts about hell, and the compulsion was like trying to do these wild, inappropriate things from the Old Testaments to make them go away. Self-flagellation and all that. What a big word. Self-harm, I think. I'll have to look that one up. I'll underline it. Okay, I'll let you know. It suddenly occurs to me that this might all be a trap. An elegant story to get me to feel sorry for Aaron, using exactly the kind of characters that I would feel empathy for. Self-flagellation. Isn't that just a fancy word for self-harm? Which in essence is what my best friend is going through. I feel myself straining against the story, turning it upside down, looking for the wires. You think I'm making it up, he says grimly. You think I was just born awful and I try to convert gay kids for a hobby. You don't think there's anyone in my life who I loved, who I cared about, who mattered to me like your friends matter to you? His voice starts to strain, like he is trying to fight a cry. He stops for a second, wrestles his sadness into anger, to him a more acceptable emotion. Well, I did, he snaps. We loved each other, and we were going to get out together. There's a change in the room. A feeling of his words being sieved through air, of the atmosphere becoming thicker and filled with struggle. They were going to move Matthew, he says coldly. Twin Pines was bad, but it was like maximum security rehab, but his parents wanted to send him to this place, this conversion therapy place, where he didn't want to go. So he repeats, the housekeeper. I don't remember how we got the cards, but I could read them. I don't know why, but I couldn't read them. I could read them. I summoned her. Did it work? In a way, everyone knew I was the one with real magic, so Matthew convinced me to do it, to summon her. He read about it somewhere, I don't know. I was the only one who saw her in person. I mean, they all saw the card, but she started coming to me, visiting me, looking at me. She was what I saw instead of hell. And anyway, 5 nights later, there was a fire. That was her. She made it so that we could get out. And we did, all together. We got our money together and we got on the bus. We were going to head to San Francisco. Riri had an uncle there who she thought would put us up. And then what? I fell asleep next to Matthew on that bus just as we left Sacramento. When I woke up, we were pulling into San Francisco and he was dead. Even though I knew this was coming, that this was in essence the point of the story. I'm still shocked. People don't die sitting up in a bus seat. They just don't. Not when the housekeeper is involved. She's more blood and water, pomp and ceremony. Not a young man quietly fading as his friends sleeps next to him. After that, everything was wrong. Stayed wrong. We took Matthew home to his parents. They called us Satanists, and they weren't wrong. We had worshipped the occult. We had done the number one thing that the Christian kids aren't supposed to do. And all that I could think was, is Matthew in hell now? Was he damned forever? What about the others? Rai disappeared. I tried to get in touch with her a few years ago. I think she heard that I was working for an enemy and didn't want to hear from me. Alex got married at 19. Aaron bites at his thumbnail to a woman to a woman. My parents didn't want anything to do with me. So I thought the best idea was, devote my life to God. Make sure things like that never happened again. There's a spelling mistake here. And that is when I found the children of Bridget. Or I guess when they found me. They found me. They have people whose job is to find people like us, Maeve, sensitives, or people who have magic or whatever reason. They told me that I wasn't damned just because I was born this way, with power, I mean. They said there was a way of channeling my power so that I could serve God, and 2 months later I was on a plane to Europe. When was this? I was 18, so 3 years ago. There is a pause as I consider all of this. The enormity of both Aaron's story and the children of Bridget's operation. The order, the structure, the scale, the idea that someone like Aaron could quickly be scooped up in a wake of a tragedy. The irony of it all, he says softly, is that I was supposed to be the person who brought you in. If they need a sensitive to draw up the well, why didn't they just use you? It doesn't work that way. You have the drain through that sensitive that is connected with Kelbeg well. I'm not connected. And what about the well? The one in California. He looks glumly at the ground. It was drained. They drained it through me. That's why they recruited me. Then they moved me on. That's what they'll do to you too. If they can, send you somewhere, cut you off from your source so you can't get too powerful for them again. Tutu's head goes up and he looks at me with interest, a head tilted. Are you okay, hun? Expression. It's too much information, too much to calculate. I feel like the walls of my brain are starting to cave in, and I start rubbing my skull as if trying to prevent it. I was up north when I got the call about King Beg. They had noticed an energy shift. They wanted me to go down and figure out what was happening. It was either you, Rory. He stops, corrects himself. Rory? I couldn't figure it out. Someone had something about of you were so sorry. Had something, and both of you were so, I don't know. You were exactly how we used to be back in the Twin Pines, Fiona too. That's when I started seeing the housekeeper again, and then I heard about Lily, and it all made sense. It's going to be so interesting, I say, recalling his words. If you live. Wow, I've got to drink again, sorry. Well, it was interesting, he says, with genuine and announced astonishment in his voice. It was, and then Lily came back, and the four of you, he starts to stutter, stumble, repeat. The four, you are alive. He spits out the alive, like it's a pit in the middle of a cherry. And for the first time I really see him. No, that's not right. I've been seeing him this whole time, sitting here with my tea going cold. A more correct assertion would be that I see myself in him. I understand how it must be when your friends die or desert you, to blame yourself, to find comfort in something stronger, larger than you. Something that doesn't seem like a cult, because you are promoted to middle management as soon as you join. We almost weren't, I say, but way of comfort. I say by way of comfort, it was a fluke, really. That we are alive. They always told me, he says, gulping back tears, that Matthew died because we used our magic for evil, that we summoning the housekeeper, we were all cavorting with Satan, but then I could repent, but using my magic for good, that I could be saved from hell. It is the word that breaks him, the word hell, which we have said dozens of times over and over again of this long conversation, severs a link between emotion and propriety. Aaron Michael Brannan folds in on himself and starts to heave quietly, his shoulders rising and falling, his cries, the sound of air sucked in too sharply. But then all of you all live. He spits out finally. You are fine. You are thriving. I don't know what to do. I know what I would do. Normally, if this were anyone else, even some random girl in the year below me, I would put my arm around her shoulders, trying to comfort her, or ask her if I can find someone who can. But this isn't just any old person. This is someone dangerous, powerful, and despite his apparent empathy, that he's a dickhead, still a dickhead. If you were supposed to bring me in, I say, instead you were very bad at it. The shuddering, heaving sobs slow down and then stop. He starts to laugh, not the sniggers of dry laughs I've heard before, but a real human grateful laugh. Yeah, he agrees, wiping his face with the heel of his hand. Really bad. He looks at me semi-apologetic. When I was, they gave me a lot of extra power, you know. They do that. Gift it to people they like. Take it away from people who have upset them. With their power fueling my gift, I could make anyone do anything by the time you came along. I was arrogant. I didn't think I would really have to try. And now all that is gone, I ask. They took it away because you upset them. They store power in people, creatures, and things, but people most of all. People they trust. It's like a bank that is always moving its money around, making it grow. It is a reward system for followers, as well as being a kind of, I don't know, offshore account. You were one of their offshore accounts. Yeah, for a while. Then they took it away. He pauses. And I'm learning that without it, I'm just some arsehole. Correct, you are. You've done things, I say, wanting to spit the words. You've done horrible things. You've made already vulnerable people even more vulnerable. You have made the world a worse place for people, queer people, especially. You've gone on television, Aaron, you've gone on the radio to say the birth control is bad for women. You have probably promoted celibacy and I can't pronounce it, and homophobia. I'm channeling my best Fiona now. I'm channeling my best Fiona now. I'm pretending she's here and this is her talking. I know, he says. I know, but you have to understand. I thought I was helping. I thought I was saving. And I stand up and started clearing away the cups, aggressively dunking them in the sink with a clatter. It doesn't matter, I snap. It's not enough. Put your coat on. We are going to Newlands. Why? For the first time in a long time, I feel powerful again. I feel like fire could shoot out of my eyes if I willed it to. You are going to help us stop this. And that was chapter 27. Wow, this is really getting heavy, and she's taking back her power. Take care. Bye bye.